Every week, one 8-hour video will be uploaded. All novels uploaded here are completed, so you will get a full story without searching or waiting. I have listened to the translated version on web, and there are no major problems with translation. If you want Chinese novel translated, give me the original name of the novel and I will respond to your request as soon as possible. Please make sure your request is on the latest video. If you hear this "u" sound in the novel, it means either question mark or some space is left, like getting materials or experience gained there more but not shown. If after a name is used and after there is silence, it means exclamation marks were used as in shock. I don't know if this will happen in recorded one, but it happened in web version. Chapter 156. Ouyang Qin paced back and forth in her office, looking anxious. She had sent Chun Bo more than a dozen flirtatious messages inviting him out, but Chun Bo hadn't replied. When had she ever been treated like this? With her looks, which man hadn't she easily seduced and won over? Chun Bo had made her a little unconfident. After staring blankly in her office for a moment, she finally stopped abruptly, as if she had made up her mind. This man is indeed a super scumbag who discards women after using them. No, I absolutely cannot let him get away. I must have my revenge. She had never suffered such a great loss at the hands of a man. If she couldn't take revenge personally, she would never be able to emerge from Chun Bo's shadow in her entire life. Chun Bo, just you wait for me. Even if I have to endure humiliation and sacrifice myself, I will personally send you to hell. Thinking of this, the anger and hatred on Ouyang Qin's face immediately dissipated, and she regained her confident and charming demeanor. After applying a sweet, innocent makeup look, she left. She was going to find Chun Bo herself. She had already formulated a complete plan in her mind on how to gradually drag Chun Bo into the abyss of hell. When Ouyang Qin arrived at Chun Bo's school and found him, she was instantly furious. This was because she saw Chun Bo flirting with another girl. President Bo, to thank you for your kindness, how about I treat you to dinner? A pure, delicate, and lovely girl stood timidly in front of Chun Bo. The girl shyly lowered her head, not daring to meet Chun Bo's handsome and elegant gaze, her small hands tightly clutching and twisting the hem of her clothes. This girl was Long Kai, one of the female streamers from Zheng Xinyang's company. Just dinner? Chun Bo asked dismissively. President Bo, we should get to know each other first, step by step. I don't like gradual progress. I like fast forward. Long Kai's face instantly turned red, and she seemed a bit flustered. Fast forward is not impossible, but President Bo must take precautions. However, after saying that, Long Kai's small face flushed completely, and she felt as if she wanted to burrow into the ground if there was a crack. Chun Bo was speechless. He hadn't expected a girl with such exquisite looks and figure to be so easily won over. Chun Bo was certain that if it came down to it, even without safety measures, this girl would definitely not object. Actually, Chun Bo didn't really intend to do anything to Long Kai. He wasn't an animal who would jump on every pretty girl he saw. He just saw Long Kai suddenly offering herself up and had a sudden impulse to tease her. Chun Bo suddenly felt a bit ironic. These girls, facing a group of losers in their live streams, all claimed to be slow to warm up. But when they met handsome, wealthy men, or men with foreign faces, these girls warmed up as fast as possible. Chun Bo was considering whether or not to enjoy this meal that was delivered to his doorstep. After all, waste was shameful, and it was a shame not to eat it when it was free. Just then, Ouyang Qin could no longer stand it. Cough, cough, President Bo. You truly are a busy man. A charming laugh rang out. Although the voice was sweet, it contained a surprising killing intent. Ouyang Qin swayed her alluring figure towards Chun Bo, a radiant smile on her face. Little beauty, I have something to discuss with President Bo. You should go back first. Who are you? Why should I? Long Kai frowned and asked. Hunting was a two-way street. While she was being completely devoured by President Bo, she was also enjoying the wonderful pleasure President Bo brought her. Moreover, her first man was the legendary President Bo. This alone could elevate her status and sustain her for a lifetime. How could Long Kai let go of the prey that was almost in her grasp? You're a streamer for Zheng Xinyang's company. aren't you? Don't you know I'm also one of the company's directors? Long Kai was reluctantly chased away by Ouyang Qin. She had lowered herself so much that it was only a matter of time before President Bo favored her. There was no need to offend someone like Ouyang Qin over such a matter. In fact, she had seen Ouyang Qin a few times and knew that this woman's relationship with her boss was not simple. She was slender and weak. Before she grew stronger, there was no need to confront her directly. Looking at Long Kai's retreating figure, Chun Bo was displeased. Ouyang Qin, what do you want? Did you come specifically to ruin my fun? You scoundrel! Do you dislike me that much? Ouyang Qin pouted, looking wronged. It's not that I dislike you, but everything has a proper order, and cutting in line is shameful. You wait first. I'll finish with her, then I'll get to you. Ouyang Qin instantly broke down. I, such a delicate and beautiful woman, came to you personally, and you tell me to wait first? And the reason is to finish with that young girl first. Then it's my turn? What do you take me for? Ouyang Qin felt greatly insulted. Chun Bo, you bastard. There will be a day when you'll be kneeling and begging me. But now was not the time to fall out with Chun Bo. For the mission, no matter how great the humiliation, she had to endure it for now. Chun Bo, are you really going to find that little girl? I was thinking I learned a dual cultivation technique and wanted to cultivate with you. As soon as Chun Bo heard the words dual cultivation technique, his eyes immediately lit up. He thought, Ouyang Qin must have been enraged and humiliated after he took her virginity, so she was thinking of ways to get revenge on him, although he didn't know what Ouyang Qin was up to. But he really wanted to experience this dual cultivation technique. In the novels he read, dual cultivation techniques were all methods that could promote the balance of yin and yang and simultaneously increase both parties' cultivation. With all his trump cards, Chun Bo was not afraid of Ouyang Qin's schemes. Maybe she would even bring him a great gift. It could be pleasurable and also improve his cultivation. Killing two birds with one stone, what more could he ask for? Then what are we waiting for? Let's cultivate quickly. Chun Bo eagerly pulled Ouyang Qin and walked towards the hotel. Ouyang Qin sneered inwardly. This scumbag, just now he made her wait in line, but after hearing about the dual cultivation technique, he immediately became eager to cultivate with her. He was truly a scumbag beyond redemption. Sooner or later, he would pay the price for this. Thus, the two left the school hand in full view of everyone. They headed straight for the hotel. Is Chun Bo, that scoundrel, passing by his home 3 times without entering? Huang Bin, in the dormitory, watched Chun Bo leaving hand in hand with Ouyang Qin from upstairs, saying enviously, that woman is really beautiful, truly exciting. Did Chun Bo, that bastard, save the universe? He's surrounded by so many beauties. Not only are there many, but their quality is also so high. Zhou Wanwan, Lin Ruashi, and that girl just now, each one is a top-notch beauty. If I could have just one, it would make me ecstatic. He can have so many at once. It's truly infuriating to compare oneself to others. The eyes of several people in the dormitory were filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred. Chun Bo and Ouyang Qin did not delay or hesitate at all. After entering the hotel, they went straight to the point, because they were both in a hurry. Chapter 157. At first, Ouyang Qin took the lead, gesturing with her hands and speaking, personally teaching Chun Bo the dual cultivation technique. Both sides cultivated diligently. Gradually, the vital energy of Chun Bo and Ouyang Qin began to merge and circulate. However, because Chun Bo's realm was only at the Qi Gathering 1st level, while Ouyang Qin had already reached the Qi Gathering 8th level, it was basically Ouyang Qin's vital energy that drove Chun Bo's circulation. As a result, the vital energy in Chun Bo's dantian increased extremely rapidly. With the continuous accumulation of vital energy, his realm could break through to the Qi Gathering 2nd level at any time. Such dual cultivation, however, seemed to be of little help to Ouyang Qin's improvement. After all, the gap in their realms was too large. Chun Bo didn't understand why Ouyang Qin insisted on dual cultivating with him. Could it be that she was completely conquered by his exquisite technique and handsome appearance? Was she taking advantage of him under the guise of dual cultivation? Chunbo felt that this must be the case. But no matter what, this dual cultivation technique was truly amazing. The speed of improvement was no less than taking a qi-gathering pill. Although this cultivation method was a bit tiring, Chunbo liked it very much. Miss Ouyang, your technique is indeed unfathomable. Call me Qin Qin, Ouyang Qin said with her eyes closed.
Qin Bu.
Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and cooperate with the cultivation. Ouyang Qin was like a selfless giver, not caring about the slow increase in her own realm from dual cultivation, and immersed herself in diligent practice. As she cultivated, Ouyang Qin felt that Chunbo was already deeply immersed in cultivation, unable to extricate himself. Heh. A faint, sinister smile curved at the corner of her lips. She could proceed with the plan. This Yin-Wind dual cultivation technique indeed offered very limited improvement for the female party. The essence of this technique was that during the cultivation process, the female party could silently absorb the male party's vital energy. The male party would become weak due to excessive loss of vital energy, while the female party's cultivation would advance more profoundly. One's gain is the other's loss. She believed that with this method, she could drain all of Chunbo's vital energy and avenge the loss of her first time. Seeing the time was ripe, Ouyang Qin silently activated her suction power, and with the merging power of the two, it slowly extended into Chunbo's body, beginning to absorb his vital energy. The entire process was very subtle, and Chunbo was completely unaware of it. But the next second, Ouyang Qin was stunned. What's going on? Why couldn't she absorb Chunbo's vital energy? This feeling was like inserting a straw into a stone. How could such a small straw possibly move such an incredibly hard stone? At the same time, although Chunbo couldn't detect Ouyang Qin's small movements, he felt the changes in his dantian. His dantian, which had been silently absorbing the vital energy gathered by the dual cultivation technique and slowly growing, suddenly emitted bursts of golden light. The Vajra Sutra runes wrapped around his dantian slowly circulated around the outside of the dantian, forming a protective shell as strong as a city wall. Clearly, these Vajra Sutra runes had an emergency reaction, protecting his dantian. But why did these Vajra Sutra runes trigger their protection mechanism? Chunbo slowly opened his eyes and saw Ouyang Qin's indifferent expression. He immediately understood that Ouyang Qin must have made her move. Ouyang Qin did not actively attack his physical body but chose to attack his dantian. No matter how she thought about it, she couldn't have imagined that the Vajra Sutra obtained from the Buddha head could protect his dantian, making it indestructible. Under Ouyang Qin's continuous attack, the Vajra Sutra runes wrapped around his dantian also seemed to be evolving and strengthening. Chunbo, having figured this out, was delighted. This Ouyang Qin was a great person. Not only did she make his body feel great and improve his cultivation, but she also promoted the evolution of the Vajra Sutra. This was more than just a double blessing. It was practically a triple blessing. Ouyang Qin was completely bewildered. This wasn't scientific, was it? Could it be that the instruction manual for this Yin-Wind dual cultivation technique was written incorrectly? That shouldn't be possible. It must be that her method of absorption was incorrect. Ouyang Qin adjusted her posture and continuously tried to absorb Chunbo's vital energy from different angles. Every time she exerted a siphoning force, the Vajra Sutra runes in Chunbo's body would get a boost and enhancement. Although the increase wasn't fast, it was better to accumulate small gains. The main reason was that Ouyang Qin didn't dare to absorb violently all at once, fearing that Chunbo would discover it. So she was very cautious and careful. After each failure, she would summarize again, change her posture, and continue to try. She believed that as long as she persevered, she would eventually find a suitable method. As long as she succeeded once, she would be able to continuously absorb Chunbo's vital energy, until Chunbo's vital energy was exhausted. Even if he didn't die from depletion, it would greatly reduce Chunbo's strength. But then, killing him would be like slaughtering a chicken. However, Chunbo was no longer the same as before. Cherishing and pitying women no longer existed in his concepts and consciousness. With such a good opportunity, How could he be satisfied with just this small increase? So he decided to provoke Ouyang Qin, making her go full throttle. As for how to provoke Ouyang Qin, it was very simple. For someone like Ouyang Qin, who was arrogant, narcissistic, and self-centered, the best way was to, "Hui hui, you are so moist." Clang. Ouyang Qin instantly trembled all over, radiating killing intent. Nothing was more infuriating than calling out another woman's name during cultivation. As for why he called Lu Hui, it was because Ouyang Qin knew Lu Hui. Often, acquaintances are more damaging than strangers. After that one call of Hui Hui, Ouyang Qin's originally clear eyes instantly became bloodshot, and she entered a berserk mode. Feeling greatly insulted, Ouyang Qin no longer feared Chen Bo discovering her little tricks. She violently increased her siphoning power. At this moment, she wished she could immediately drain Chen Bo into a dried corpse to avenge this humiliation. "You scum, scoundrel, beast, bastard. I'll teach you to call another woman's name while cultivating." Ouyang Qin roared madly in her heart. Clang, clang, clang. Ouyang Qin's siphoning power was completely blocked by the Vajra Sutra runes radiating golden light. Despite Ouyang Qin exerting all her strength, she couldn't absorb even a trace of vital energy from Chen Bo. Damn it! What on earth was wrong with Chen Bo's dantian? It was so strong. Did he have kidney stones in his dantian? Chen Bo was overjoyed, because he could clearly feel his dantian gradually strengthening. Just then, Ouyang Qin, as if by a ghost's prompting, blurted out, "In your heart, who is more beautiful, me or Lu Hui?" Ouyang Qin posed a question, then quickly added, "No beating around the bush, you must choose one." Clearly, she didn't want to hear a perfunctory answer from Chen Bo. Chen Bo was amused again. Isn't this an easy question to score points on? He was just wondering how to provoke Ouyang Qin to make her go all out. As long as it doesn't kill you, provoke her to death. So Chen Bo opened his eyes and looked seriously into Ouyang Qin's eyes. "Of course Hui Hui is more beautiful. Even with makeup, you're not as beautiful as she is even when turned to ashes." Clang. Ouyang Qin stopped moving, clenching her fingers tightly, her nails digging deeply into Chen Bo's skin. Death Stare. Chapter 158. Ding. Anger value from Ouyang Qin. Plus 300. Current total anger value. Plus 2080 points. Ding. Triggered an anger critical hit of over 100 points. Rewarding stamina attribute +1. Current host attributes. Strength, 20. Speed, 19. Stamina, 19. Ouyang Qin's mentality completely exploded. Her bright eyes filled with rage and resentment. The vital energy within her body surged out like a breached dam. At this moment, she had lost her reason and completely disregarded concealment. Because Chen Bo's remark, even with makeup on, "You're not as pretty as Lu Hui with dirt on her face," completely broke her. It's one thing for you to mention other women while we're cultivating. If you say I'm not as gentle, virtuous, or well-read as other women, I won't argue. I'd even admit if my temperament or assets aren't as good as Lu Hui's. But you absolutely cannot say my appearance is inferior to Lu Hui's. Ouyang Qin, born with a glamour bone, had absolute confidence in her looks. She always believed she was the most beautiful. Moreover, appearance, something without clear measuring standards, becomes difficult to differentiate at a certain level. One can only say that tastes differ. So, in Ouyang Qin's heart, her appearance was her most prized asset. But just now, her pride, her confidence, was completely crushed and trampled by a single sentence from Chen Bo. And it happened during their cultivation. She completely lost her mind, wishing she could immediately drain Chen Bo into a dried corpse. Therefore, Ouyang Qin adopted the most extreme method. That was to stop hiding, firmly control Chen Bo from top to bottom, and let her vast vital energy transform into a siphon, frantically trying to break through Chen Bo's dantian defense and absorb the vital energy within. Chen Bo felt the golden light emanating from the Vajra Sutra runes wrapped around his dantian becoming increasingly bright and dazzling, coupled with the vast vital energy gathered from their dual cultivation. He suddenly felt a sensation of swelling pain and bursting. His dantian expanded and strengthened at a visible speed. It's here. He's about to break through. Boom! A soft sound echoed within his body. The obstacle blocking his dantian from absorbing vital energy shattered. Chun Bo's aura also rose steadily. Qi gathering second level. Haha! Finally broke through. Less than 2 seconds into his excitement, Chun Bo's face twitched sharply, because he noticed Ouyang Qin, who had stopped her actions, was scrutinizing him with eyes like she was examining a monster. Suddenly feeling Chun Bo's breakthrough during cultivation, Ouyang Qin was incredibly astonished. What kind of monster is this? Not only could she not absorb vital energy from his dantian, but he actually broke through under these circumstances. Is this the legendary, lustful demon, invincible dual cultivation sacred body? With such vast vital energy entering his body, even an idiot should have noticed something. The only explanation was that the vital energy Chun Bo gathered during cultivation far exceeded the vital energy she injected, completely masking her own vital energy. So much so that he couldn't detect it. After cultivating for half a day, she gained no benefits, yet this man broke through during cultivation. Ouyang Qin gradually released Chun Bo. She wanted to give up, no more playing. But after she released Chun Bo, she found that he showed no intention of stopping, completely immersed in cultivation. Doubt began to sprout in Ouyang Qin's heart. When a martial artist breaks through a realm, their dantian is at its weakest. At this time, shouldn't one avoid vital energy loss and sit in meditation to consolidate? But Chun Bo showed no intention of stopping. Ouyang Qin suddenly regained a bit of confidence in herself. She believed she must be too beautiful, too charming. So much so that Chun Bo couldn't extricate himself. Even with his dantian in a weakened state, he was unwilling to stop cultivating. It must be like this. Instantly, Ouyang Qin curled her lips again, revealing a wicked smile. What a good opportunity. Now is when Chun Bo's dantian is weakest. When else to absorb if not now? So Ouyang Qin continued to increase her vital energy output, exhausting her last bit of vital energy. She launched an attack on Chun Bo. 20 minutes later, Ouyang Qin couldn't hold on anymore. Couldn't absorb, simply couldn't absorb. Her vital energy was depleted, and she couldn't absorb even a speck of Chun Bo's vital energy. Moreover, after prolonged high-intensity cultivation, her physical endurance had reached its limit. She really couldn't move anymore. Yet, Chun Bo's state was one of growing stronger with each battle. Why is this happening? Ouyang Qin's mind collapsed. No more playing. It's not fun at all. I want to go home. I'm not playing with him anymore. Ouyang Qin gave up. Today would be the end of it. It seems she could only try again next time. That bastard. Ouyang Qin felt incredibly aggrieved. She was taken advantage of by Chun Bo for nothing, gaining absolutely nothing, and she was exhausted to death. At this moment, she only wished that the assassin hired by Tang Zhen could drag Chun Bo to hell. That way, no one would ever be able to bring up this dark history that made her feel utterly despondent. Beast! Ouyang Qin stopped cultivating with Chun Bo and was about to leave. But Chun Bo grabbed her ankle with one hand and dragged her back like a dead dog. You're done having fun and now you want to run? No way. Did you even ask if I agree? After a long while, Ouyang Qin's eyes were teary, and she sobbed, curled up in the corner, looking exactly like a wronged young wife. Beast! Beast! She had never encountered such a beastly person. She kindly and willingly cultivated with him, yet he treated her inhumanely, pushing her to her limits. Ouyang Qin. Favorability-10. Ouyang Qin. Favorability-10. Ouyang Qin's current favorability. Minus 80 points. This should be the woman who most wants to tear Chun Bo to pieces right now. Ding! Anger value from Ouyang Qin. Plus 200. Current total anger value. Plus 2,280 points. Ding! Triggered an anger critical hit of over 100 points. Rewarding strength attribute plus 1. Current host attributes. Strength, 21. Speed, 19. Stamina, 19. Chun Bo lay alone on the hotel bed, feeling refreshed. This arduous cultivation had yielded many rewards. Firstly, his cultivation had reached Qi Gathering 2nd level. After all, Ouyang Qin was a Qi Gathering 8th level expert, and with her selfless dedication, his cultivation improved extremely quickly. Secondly, the Vajrasutra runes wrapped around his dantian had clearly advanced a stage after Ouyang Qin's continuous hammering and tempering. Under the protection of the Vajrasutra runes, he believed very few people could harm his dantian. Thirdly, his body and mind experienced immense pleasure, especially in the final moments of cultivation, when Ouyang Qin cried out that she couldn't take it anymore. A great sense of conquest emerged in his heart. This feeling was something he had never experienced before. Finally, at Ouyang Qin's weakest moment, he used the glamour technique to charm Ouyang Qin. He extracted from Ouyang Qin the plan of Tang Jin hiring an assassin from the dark web to kill him. That's why Chun Bo was so enraged, making Ouyang Qin's legs slightly spread. You're already trying to hire someone to kill me, and you expect me to be polite to you? What a joke. Just as Chun Bo was about to ask for more information from Ouyang Qin, a chilling voice suddenly echoed in the luxurious room. Kid, you're really ruthless. To be so harsh on such a little beauty. Chapter 159. The next moment, a short man in a brown Zhongshan suit, with a center-parted hairstyle and a mustache, suddenly appeared in front of Chun Bo. Although the man was short, his muscles were exceptionally lean and powerful. He exuded a sharp aura, and his hawk-like eyes held a chilling, killing intent. Just from the oppressive aura emanating from the man, one could tell his strength was formidable. His appearance instantly lowered the air pressure in the entire luxurious suite by several degrees. A Qi Gathering peak expert? A 3-inch runt, with a face like a rat? Could you be Grey Rat? One of the 10 fiends of Shattered Jade Tower? Ouyang Qin exclaimed in surprise. The man gazed at the disheveled Ouyang Qin, revealing a wicked smile. Little beauty, your ability isn't much, but your eyesight is quite good. You actually recognize me. But Grey Rat's expression suddenly turned vicious. Bang! Ouyang Qin's body was sent flying several meters, as if hit by a speeding car. Who are you calling a 3-inch runt with a face like a rat, you slut? Are you looking down on me? Grey Rat roared ferociously. And no, it's not like that, Mr. Grey Rat. Ouyang Qin's face showed terror as she stumbled to her feet. I greatly admire Mr. Grey Rat. How could I possibly look down on you? Mr. Grey Rat, this beast is President Tang's target. Quickly kill him. Before Ouyang Qin could finish her sentence, Grey Rat's sharp figure had already appeared in front of her. His shriveled, small hand gripped Ouyang Qin's throat. Grey Rat, who was only 1.5 meters tall, looked up lecherously at Ouyang Qin. Are you telling me what to do? Mr. Grey Rat, you've misunderstood again? Ouyang Qin's face was filled with terror. Enough, you useless thing. You're only fit to be a man's cultivation cauldron. You couldn't even use the dual cultivation technique to deplete this kid's vital energy. What good are you, trash like you, besides pleasing men? Ugh, Ouyang Qin's face turned crimson from Grey Rat's choking grip, and her limbs thrashed, trying to break free from his large hand. It wasn't until Ouyang Qin's face turned ashen, and her limbs gradually lost the ability to resist that Grey Rat finally released her. Cough, cough, cough. Grey Rat, what are you doing? We paid to hire you to assassinate Chun Bo. Do you have any professional ethics? Attacking your own employer? Regaining her freedom, Ouyang Qin's fear turned into anger, and she furiously questioned Grey Rat. Is Miss Ouyang mistaken about something? The person who hired me to do this is President Tang, and you are merely the reward Tang Jin promised me. A sinister smile appeared on Grey Rat's waxy face. Hearing this, Ouyang Qin's heart trembled. What did you say? It seems Miss Ouyang is unaware. Miss Ouyang has a natural charm bone, making her an excellent cultivation cauldron and the best partner for dual cultivation. President Tang has already promised you to me. As long as I kill this kid in front of me, you will be my woman from now on. Impossible, how dare Tang Jin? If it weren't for you, How could that kid Tangjin possibly have moved me? Bastard, all you men are beasts. Die for me. Ouyang Qin suddenly launched her glamour technique at Grey Rat. As long as he fell for her glamour technique, no matter what kind of rat he was, she could beat him into a dead rat. Even if the opponent was a chi-gathering peak expert, it was no exception. He. A mere glamour technique. At most it can add some fun during dual cultivation. Grey Rat's powerful spiritual force erupted, instantly breaking free from Ouyang Qin's glamour technique. Little beauty, you wait quietly on the side. After I deal with this kid, we can then enjoy the pleasures of dual cultivation. You're dreaming. Ouyang Qin shifted her center of gravity, gathering vital energy in her legs, preparing to escape at any moment. But her small movements could not escape Grey Rat's eyes. Do you think with your meager strength you can escape from me? Never mind. I'll just break your legs first, deal with this kid, and then deal with you. No sooner had Grey Rat's oppressive words fallen than a fierce punch wind suddenly erupted from him, directly charging towards Ouyang Qin's trembling legs. Boom! A figure emitting a golden light suddenly blocked in front of Ouyang Qin. Grey Rat's fierce punch aura slammed onto this figure. However, the moment that fierce punch aura landed on this figure, it was like a gentle breeze blowing against Mount Tai. Not only did it not move an inch, but the rigidity of the punch aura instantly dissipated. This figure was Chun Bo. Chun Bo was also slightly surprised by this. He hadn't expected that the Xuanwu physique, rewarded by the system and strengthened by the Vajrasutra, would make his defensive capabilities so abnormal. The punch Grey Rat threw landed on his upper body as if it were nothing. It didn't require any effort. The punch aura dissipated instantly. In the face of this power, a chi-gathering peak practitioner was not even a hair. Kid, to be able to block my attack, do you have a spiritual artifact on you? Grey Rat frowned slightly, his gaze fixed on Chun Bo. Chun Bo's golden glow was too dazzling, making Grey Rat firmly believe that Chun Bo must have an extraordinary defensive spiritual artifact on him. Hand over the spiritual artifact, and I might consider leaving you a complete corpse.
Grey Rat threatened coldly.
You 3-inch runt with a rat head and tail dare to covet my cultivation cauldron? I am kind-hearted and cannot bear to kill. Sir, please commit suicide. That way, it saves me some trouble. Upon hearing this, the room fell into a deathly silence. Make me commit suicide?
Grey Rat laughed in extreme anger.
You dare to call me a 3-inch runt? Do you know who I am? The number 1 person below the Gangchi realm. In all these years, my missions have never failed. Chun Bo, now is not the time to show off. If we work together against him, we might still have a glimmer of hope. Hope reignited in Ouyang Qin's eyes. Given a choice between Grey Rat and Chun Bo, she would rather choose Chun Bo. As for Grey Rat, she would rather die than become his cultivation cauldron. Moreover, once she fell into Grey Rat's hands, her fate would surely be worse than death. A mere rat. Do I still need to team up with my cultivation cauldron? I can crush him with a flick of my hand. Chun Bo revealed his stark white teeth, smiling wickedly. What an ignorant fellow, thinking he's invincible just because he became a martial artist. As he spoke, Grey Rat attacked in a fit of rage. He extended his right fist, and Gang Chi condensed within it. The air within a 2-meter radius seemed to be compressed onto Grey Rat's right fist in an instant, emitting terrifying, oppressive, and powerful air currents. Then he threw a punch. This enraged punch was truly earth-shattering. Suddenly, a vicious wave of air seemed to erupt out of nowhere, sweeping away all objects in the room. The force was so strong that it reverberated in all directions. The power of this punch made Ouyang Qin's face fill with terror, as if the breath of death had suddenly assailed her. Being the number 1 person below the Gangchi realm was not an empty boast. How would Chun Bo respond? Could he really withstand Grey Rat's full-power punch? The ferocious look in Grey Rat's eyes became even more apparent. He didn't know how strong the spiritual artifact in Chun Bo's hand really was. But the other party's tone was so arrogant, he must have something to rely on. So he went all out from the start, leaving no room for error. Having reached his level, He naturally understood the principle that even a mighty eagle uses its full strength to catch a rabbit. Seeing Chen Bo so arrogant now, facing his full power strike without dodging or evading, wanting to meet it head-on, he couldn't help but sneer inwardly. This punch, decades of cultivation, can you take it? Chapter 160. The next moment, this terrifying Gang Chi fist wind, like a cannonball, slammed heavily into Chen Bo. Boom! A dull, thunderous roar, deafening, exploded in this luxurious suite with an area of less than 200 square meters. In an instant, broken glass splattered everywhere, floorboards cracked, and dust flew. Chen Bo's figure was instantly covered by the smoke and dust. Ouyang Qin's face turned ashen, and she collapsed to the ground, completely falling into despair. Gray Rat's ugly face twisted into a sinister smile. A fool who doesn't know his place. No one has ever been able to withstand my full power strike head-on, not even a Gang Chi realm expert.
Impossible.
Gray Rat's laughter abruptly stopped, like a rat with its throat choked, letting out a piercing shriek. His face instantly changed drastically, looking at the absurd scene in front of him with disbelief. As the smoke and dust cleared, a figure radiating almost solidified golden light stood in place, calmly dusting off his clothes. With arrogant eyes like a god, he looked down coldly at Gray Rat, who was only 1.5 meters tall. What was that? You brat! Don't be so arrogant. Facing Chen Bo's taunt, Gray Rat lost his reason, and Gang Chi once again condensed on his fist. He threw a punch. Bang! The fierce and sharp fist Gang landed on the golden light covering Chen Bo, and the punch, unleashed with all of Gray Rat's lifelong cultivation, landed on the golden light like a pebble dropping into a calm lake, creating ripples before completely disappearing. At this sight, Gray Rat and Ouyang Qin both felt as if their throats were choked, speechless with shock. Under their astonished gazes, Chen Bo slowly spoke. Is the number one person below Gang Chi realm only this capable? His tone was calm, yet it carried a faint hint of disdain and provocation.
Impossible.
Gray Rat took a step back in astonishment. This step was enough to prove the fear in his heart. It was like a person seeing a ferocious beast, instinctively backing away and entering a defensive stance. Because the scene before him challenged his worldview too much. Decades of diligent cultivation, countless hardships endured in pursuit of power, even excessive use of medication, which caused his height to be permanently fixed at 1.5 meters, earning him the nickname Little Rat. Although he joined Shattered Jade Tower and became one of the 10 Fiends, the organization's codename for him was also Gray Rat. Actually, what he hated most was people calling him Gray Rat. So, in past missions, anyone who called him Gray Rat was brutally tortured and killed by him, even including teammates. Now, he believed he had gained immense power, yet his full power strike had become a joke in front of this young man, who was only at the Chi Gathering 2nd level. But soon, Gray Rat broke free from his fear, letting out a cold laugh. Humph, you only managed to block my attack because of the terrifying defense of that spiritual artifact on you. But what's the use of your turtle shell being so hard? I don't believe it can block 100 of my punches. As long as you can't harm me, victory will ultimately be mine. Noisy! Chen Bo slightly raised his chin, revealing his stark white teeth. Who said I couldn't harm you? Silence. The scene once again fell into an eerie silence. If it were just now, Gray Rat and Ouyang Qin would have definitely thought Chen Bo was bluffing. But after witnessing Chen Bo's terrifying defensive capabilities, they no longer dared to have such thoughts. Chen Bo slightly raised his hand. Gray Rat instantly became terrified, hurriedly leaping back to create enough distance from Chen Bo, because he didn't know what trump card Chen Bo had, and he didn't dare to gamble. Do you think you've already won? A Chi Gathering Peak expert isn't just strong in attack. Their defense is also incredibly terrifying. This physical body alone can withstand bullets. With your Chi Gathering 2nd level strength, what can you use to harm me? Gray Rat roared again. He believed Chen Bo was definitely trying to trick him. A Chi Gathering 2nd level rookie, even with a top-grade spiritual artifact in hand, couldn't possibly harm him. Chun Bo's raised hand slowly clenched into a fist, revealing a frightening smile. With what? With this fist of mine. Today, I'll show you how to use a fist. You only have this one chance, so don't blink. Okay? This punch will be very cool. Chun Bo's tightly clenched fist suddenly exerted force. A terrifying gang chi violently burst forth from that fist. The space around the fist was instantly compressed by this terrifying power, accompanied by a piercing, bird-like electrical current, and the entire fist emitted a dazzling light. The aura of death instantly enveloped Grey Rat. His heart was completely consumed by fear, and his whole body trembled. Let alone Grey Rat's chi-gathering peak strength. Even a fool could see how terrifying Chun Bo's punch was. Since Chun Bo had obtained the Pangu fist technique through a lottery, this world-shattering fist technique, he was using it on someone for the first time. Because its power was simply too great, so great that even he couldn't precisely control it. He only dared to use it against someone like Grey Rat, who was openly trying to assassinate him. You, who exactly are you? Grey Rat retreated repeatedly, his face filled with horror. He had found it strange when he accepted this mission. Why would someone spend such a large sum to assassinate a good-for-nothing whose strength was only at the chi-gathering second level? But faced with the temptation of acquiring a top-tier beauty like Ouyang Qin, Grey Rat's greed still overcame his caution, and he took on the mission. At this moment he regretted it. This Chun Bo was no ordinary person. He was clearly a monster who had hidden his true strength. Against a monster of this caliber, unless the shattered Jade Tower Master personally intervened, there was no chance of victory. If he could leave alive today, he would definitely tear Tang Jin, who had set him up, into 10,000 pieces. Me?
Chun Bo smiled faintly.
When you came to assassinate me, didn't you investigate my background thoroughly? I'm just the chi-gathering second-level good-for-nothing you spoke of. What a joke. I've never seen such a terrifying chi-gathering second-level cultivator. Don't believe me? Then I'll just have to prove it. I believe it. No need for you to prove it. You believe me so much, you must want me to put on a show for you. I must satisfy you.
Grey Rat.
Big brother, I was wrong. I still have many treasures on me. As long as you spare my life, I'll offer all these treasures to you. Grey Rat pleaded, crying. Facing Chun Bo's terrifying strength, he didn't even dare to have a trace of ulterior motive. Look at what you're saying.
Chun Bo smiled coldly.
Am I the kind of person who covets wealth? And when did my own things become something you offer to me?
Grey Rat.
The gang chi gathered on Chun Bo's fist instantly activated. He threw a punch.
Bang!
In just an instant, Grey Rat didn't even have time to let out a scream before his body turned into a cloud of blood mist. Even his bones were pulverized into dust, scattered across the world by the strong wind, leaving no trace of him whatsoever. This scene once again left Ouyang Qin, who had witnessed the entire process, dumbfounded. Chapter 161. Ouyang Qin suddenly realized that what Chun Bo meant by easily destroyed was not an exaggeration. Instead, he truly possessed the strength to look down on Grey Rat. Chun Bo's power was so incredibly vast that, with just one punch, he blasted Grey Rat, who was at the chi-gathering peak, into a mist of blood. And this was not even Chun Bo's limit. It was hard to imagine what it would look like if Chun Bo unleashed his full power. Presumably, even against a gang chi realm expert, he would have the power to fight. What a terrifying existence he was. She had been foolishly plotting with Tang Jin to assassinate him. This was like lighting a lamp in a toilet, asking for shit, death. Ouyang Qin finally understood why she couldn't absorb Chun Bo's vital energy during their dual cultivation. Damn it, he could easily destroy even a chi-gathering peak expert. Her small tricks were nothing in front of him. At this moment, Ouyang Qin was filled with both regret and hatred. Her regret was why she provoked Chun Bo, this pervert. Her hatred was that her desire to seek revenge on Chun Bo for taking her virginity would probably not be so easy now. And now what she felt more was fear. Chun Bo knew that she had conspired with Tang Jin to assassinate him. She was truly afraid that Chun Bo, in a fit of rage, would deal with her as well. She really didn't want to die. She was still so young and beautiful. Fear quickly enveloped Ouyang Qin's heart. Thump! Ouyang Qin knelt before Chen Bo. Chen Bo, please let me go. Okay? I was wrong. I was just carrying out Tang Jin's orders. Considering you were my first man and the one I dual cultivated with, please spare me. Okay. Looking at the terrified Ouyang Qin, Chen Bo felt no pity. She had plotted with Tang Jun to assassinate him. What was there to pity? As for her first night and dual cultivation, those were consensual matters, and Chen Bo didn't feel he had taken advantage. Even though he used the glamour technique. Could it be that Ouyang Qin had developed an extremely strong desire for the him under the glamour technique, which led to all of this? So don't bring that up. However, Ouyang Qin still had value, and Chen Bo would not blast her into a mist of blood just yet. The power of the Pangu Fist technique truly made Chen Bo's eyes light up. It was too awesome. Grey Rat, who was at the Qi gathering peak and known as the foremost expert below the Gangqi realm, was blasted into nothing with one punch. And he only used less than 50% of his strength. If he unleashed his full power, even Gangqi realm martial artists would have to kneel. But Chen Bo knew that the reason the Pangu Fist technique could unleash such power was more due to his strength at the Qi gathering second level. The Chaos Pure Yang skill and the Pangu Fist technique complemented each other, allowing them to unleash power beyond Chen Bo's imagination. If he hadn't broken through to the Qi gathering second level through dual cultivation with Ouyang Qin today, its power would likely have been greatly reduced. If he used the Pangu Fist technique as an ordinary person, even with all his strength, he might not be able to deal with Grey Rat at the Qi gathering peak. He still needed to find ways to improve his realm. Currently, dual cultivating with Ouyang Qin was a good method. During dual cultivation, Ouyang Qin's method of absorbing his vital energy could also cause the Vajra Sutra wrapped around his dantian to evolve. More importantly, it was also pleasurable. This truly was killing multiple birds with one stone. Chen Bo was a kind and responsible good man. How could he forget his roots and kill Ouyang Qin, with whom he had a relationship? Although he couldn't kill Ouyang Qin, he had to control her. Not only to make her dare not have any other thoughts, but also to make her absolutely loyal to him, available whenever he needed dual cultivation. Opportunities are earned. If you want to live, it depends on whether you can seize the opportunity. Chen Bo righted the overturned sofa and sat down sprawled out like a king. Ouyang Qin immediately breathed a sigh of relief. It was good that they could talk. She was most afraid that Chen Bo would just kill her without a word. You know, I can seize any opportunity. Whatever you need me to do for you, I will do my best to accomplish it, and do it well. Ouyang Qin gradually regained her usual charm and slowly crawled to Chen Bo's side. Her captivating phoenix eyes secretly sent flirtatious glances. If Chen Bo hadn't still been in his sage mode, he would have truly been stirred by her. Go kill Tang Jin. Then you can live, Chen Bo said indifferently. Ouyang Qin was stunned. What? You can't. Chen Bo said coldly.
No.
No, it's not hard to kill him, but you know my situation. If I fall out with the Tang family now, once they cut off my medicine, I don't know how long my heart can last. I can help you with other tasks, but this... Ouyang Qin looked troubled, her wronged expression pitiful, making one feel sympathy. Unfortunately, Chen Bo wasn't swayed by that. I said, you can only live if you kill him. If you don't know how to cherish the opportunity one give you, then don't blame me. Chen Bo lifted Ouyang Qin's chin with one hand and sneered. Looking at Chen Bo, who resembled a devil, the fear made Ouyang Qin tremble all over. A young man barely in his early 20s, yet he could be so terrifying. A small fry like Tang Jin was truly nothing compared to Chen Bo. I understand. I'll go now. Ouyang Qin surrendered. Killing Tang Jin might extend her life for another year or so. Perhaps during that year or so, she could find a way to survive. But if she refused Chen Bo, she would die now. She clearly understood what was more important. Ouyang Qin stood up, a resolute look in her eyes, and turned to walk out the door. Wait! Chen Bo called out, stopping Ouyang Qin. Ouyang Qin paused, turning back to look at Chen Bo with a puzzled expression. Take off your clothes. Chen Bo. I've already agreed to help you kill Tang Zhen, and you still humiliate me like this? Ouyang Qin gritted her teeth unwillingly, her fingernails digging deep into her skin in her tightly clenched fists. Just take them off when I tell you to. Where's all the nonsense coming from? Ouyang Qin glared, her eyes full of venom. Her clothes, along with large teardrops, slid down. This humiliation made Ouyang Qin entertain the thought of fighting Chun Bo to the death. But that thought was fleeting. Being extremely protective of herself, she couldn't risk her life. And fighting Chun Bo to the death, what was the difference from seeking death? Anyway, Chun Bo had already seen everything, both what he should and shouldn't have seen. What did it matter if she took off all her clothes in front of him? Soon, Ouyang Qin was completely naked. Come here. Ouyang Qin obediently walked up to Chun Bo, lowering her head and closing her eyes in shame. Her heart pounded violently, making her a little breathless, revealing a pained expression. The next moment, Chun Bo instantly took out more than a dozen silver needles from an alternate dimension. Swish, swish, swish. In a moment, the more than a dozen silver needles in Chun Bo's hand were inserted into the thick fat outside Ouyang Qin's heart. From a distance, she looked like a cute hedgehog covered in steel needles. Feeling a slight pain, Ouyang Qin suddenly opened her eyes. Seeing the cute hedgehog on her chest, Ouyang Qin looked at Chun Bo in astonishment. What did you do to me? Chapter 162. What did you do to me? Ouyang Qin looked astonished. Anyone who saw their big white rabbit poked like a porcupine would inevitably feel fear. However, the next moment, before Chun Bo could respond, Ouyang Qin felt a magical power seeping out from these densely packed silver needles, warming and repairing the deficient blood in her heart. This feeling was very similar to taking the heart-mending pill provided by the Tang family when her illness flared up, and its efficacy seemed even stronger. Under the effect of this mysterious power, the sharp pain in her heart suddenly disappeared, and a continuous flow of blood qi streamed from her heart to her limbs. It was so comfortable, so wonderful. Ouyang Qin's eyes trembled, and she stared at Chun Bo in disbelief. Could it be, you're treating my illness? Otherwise, do you think I really enjoy poking you? You can actually cure my illness? I once sought out famous doctors everywhere, but they were all helpless against my congenital heart disease. Only the Tang family's heart-mending pill could alleviate my symptoms and delay the onset of the disease. Ouyang Qin's face showed joy, her fear of Chun Bo gradually faded, and a hint of her usual confident, charming smile returned. Don't be happy too soon. This time, performing the needles for you is only to help alleviate your condition and delay the onset of the disease. To achieve a complete cure, you will need to undergo treatment for a period of time. It's good enough if it can be delayed. Thank you. Ouyang Qin suddenly seemed to have been paused, staring at Chun Bo like a stone statue. Wait a minute. Did you just say my illness can be completely cured? Chun Bo nodded calmly. Of course, this is not difficult for me. Chun Bo's words exploded in Ouyang Qin's mind like a clap of thunder. For so many years, in order to break the curse in her family that no woman could live past 30, she had sought out countless famous doctors and masters. For this, she even sacrificed herself to become the flirtatious and shameless socialite people spoke of. Although she had no actual relationships with those men, it was all accomplished through the glamour technique. But as a woman, who doesn't want to live with dignity? Who is willing to accept others pointing fingers? However, the answers she received were almost always helplessness. Only the Tang family's heart-mending pill had the effect of delaying her illness. Of course, a few Grandmaster-level figures might have a way, but how could such big shots possibly treat a small figure like her? Along the way, she also encountered many scammers and was swindled out of everything. Fortunately, in the end, thanks to her wit and vigilance, she managed to preserve her body. But at this moment, Ouyang Qin did not doubt that Chun Bo was a fraud in the slightest. First, it was because Chun Bo simply didn't need to resort to such low-level deceptive tactics. If he wanted to, he could coerce her into doing anything. Her glamour technique was ineffective against him. So in front of Chun Bo, she was utterly defenseless, unable even to escape. Second, The silver needles Chun Bo had inserted into her big white rabbit had already proven everything. The acupuncture technique he performed was indeed effective for her condition. Even if it couldn't completely cure it, its effect was clearly better than the heart-mending pill provided by the Tang family. Ouyang Qin was overjoyed and extremely surprised by this news. Suddenly, she felt that Chun Bo was not only not so annoying but also very handsome and domineering. She liked such domineering men. Ouyang Qin. Favorability plus 30. Ouyang Qin. Favorability plus 30. Ouyang Qin. Favorability plus 30. Ouyang Qin's current favorability, 10 points. Ouyang Qin was indeed a realistic and rational woman. Only after knowing that Chun Bo possessed the means to cure her illness did her favorability towards him reach 10 points. However, it was still within Chun Bo's acceptable range. As long as it wasn't a negative number and she didn't harbor resentment towards him, he could slowly train her in the future. If she knew he could treat her illness and still harbored ill intentions towards him, then her death would not be far off. For such a woman, Chun Bo wouldn't mind sending her directly to meet her great-grandmother. Boss, I'll go kill that bastard Tang Zhen right away and bring his heart to you, Ouyang Qin said excitedly. As for that scoundrel Tang Zhen, if it weren't for their family's heart-mending pill, Ouyang Qin would have wanted to kill him long ago. This time, Tang Zhen had even touched Ouyang Qin's inverse scale, actually treating her as an item to be given to Grey Rat as revenge. I was only cooperating with you to save my life. I'm not a dog raised by you, Tang Zhen. You say you'll give me away and you just do it? Thinking of this, Ouyang Qin was instantly filled with rage. Now that she had no worries, wouldn't killing Tang Zhen be an easy task? With that, Ouyang Qin strode out the door. Hey, your clothes, Chun Bo reminded her. Only then did Ouyang Qin realize that she was still completely naked and very exposed. Realizing her actions were rash, she playfully stuck out her tongue, turned around, and picked up her clothes scattered on the floor. Boss, do these silver needles need to stay in here? Leave them in. These silver needles are beneficial for your illness. Ah? Then how am I supposed to wear clothes? Ouyang Qin pouted charmingly, furrowing her brows. It's not difficult. A smile played on Chun Bo's lips. Immediately, his large hand quickly tapped the silver needles inserted into Ouyang Qin's fat. The dozen or so silver needles instantly sank into Ouyang Qin's thick fat. It was only because this part of Ouyang Qin's body had sufficiently thick fat that from the outside, one couldn't tell that more than 10 silver needles were inserted there. The Tai Wei divine needles were incredibly skillful. More than 10 silver needles were inserted, yet not a single needle mark was visible, not even a tiny spot. The entire area looked natural, still so fair and firm. Ouyang Qin also found it incredibly magical. With the silver needles inserted into her body, she felt no discomfort at all. Instead, her heart felt a lightness and smoothness she had never experienced before. This feeling made her very comfortable and full of energy. But she still had a question. Boss, with so many silver needles inserted into my body, won't you find it prickly when we cultivate together in the future? These silver needles don't need to stay in your body indefinitely. After one day, their efficacy will gradually diminish, and you will be able to expel all the silver needles yourself by circulating your internal energy. Ouyang Qin pinched her thick fat, her face showing surprise, and she said playfully, "How amazing! I was worried they would prick your hand when we cultivated together." Now, Ouyang Qin was not only charming but also a bit playful. Perhaps this was her true nature. Her alluring and seductive demeanor was merely a disguise. Perhaps because she was too happy and excited, she momentarily forgot her disguise and showed her true self. After dealing with the silver needles, Ouyang Qin put on her clothes, and a fierce glint appeared in her eyes. Tang Zhen, I rendered so many meritorious services for you, yet you just gave me away to Grey Rat as a means of revenge without a word? If you're heartless, don't blame me for being unjust. Wait a moment. Chun Bo again stopped Ouyang Qin, who was already deep in her emotional buildup. Ah, boss, do you have any other instructions? Ouyang Qin looked at Chun Bo, puzzled. but her attitude was very respectful, calling him boss repeatedly. Let that kid Tangjin live a few more days. I have a more important task for you. Chapter 163. Chun Bo gave Wang Taiyu's information to Ouyang Qin and assigned the task. The task was to retrieve all backups of Lu Fei's private photos from Wang Taiyu, and as for Wang Taiyu himself, Chun Bo left it to Ouyang Qin to handle. Chun Bo only assigned the task. The process was Ouyang Qin's business. He only wanted the result. Ouyang Qin was the experienced expert for executing such tasks. Getting rid of Wang Taiyu and making him disappear completely was not a difficult matter. What Chun Bo found tricky were Lu Fei's private photos in Wang Taiyu's possession. Chun Bo worried that Wang Taiyu had a contingency plan. Once he disappeared, these photos would spread wildly online. The state's control over such photos was extremely strict, but one should never underestimate the power of the internet. Chun Bo absolutely believed that once the photos spread, they would disseminate at an incredibly terrifying speed into the hard drives of millions of otaku. Although these photos had nothing to do with Chun Bo, if he couldn't even protect his own woman, how could he make more women willingly stay by his side in the future? Therefore, Chun Bo had to help Lu Fei resolve her current predicament. Of course, Chun Bo could also choose to pay money to settle the matter peacefully. Wang Taiyu's demands were not high, and he was blackmailing Lu Fei, so the payment could come from the action fund. Chun Bo believed that as long as he paid the first time, Wang Taiyu would cling to him like a leech, demanding endlessly. Only by making Wang Taiyu disappear permanently could he be free from future troubles. What's more, he was already a chi-gathering second-level expert, and even chi-gathering Peak Grey Rat was blasted into a mist of blood by his punch, so how could he still be threatened by you? What a joke. The moment Wang Taiyu pulled out Lu Fei's private photos, he had already sealed his own fate. Ouyang Qin, who cultivated the glamour technique, was the best candidate to carry out this mission. Ouyang Qin was a smart person. Having dealt with those big figures for many years, she knew very well what she could ask and what she couldn't. At this moment, she only needed to complete the task Chun Bo gave her. Everything else was not her concern. It wasn't until Chun Bo finished assigning the task to Ouyang Qin that the hotel management finally arrived, albeit belatedly. The battle with Grey Rat earlier had shattered even the floor and all the glass on the entire floor. Such a huge commotion, how could it not attract attention? It was just that the commotion was too great, and for a while no one dared to approach. Only after confirming there was no danger did the hotel management dare to send people to investigate. Chun Bo indeed had no experience with such matters. But he wasn't flustered. Since martial artists existed in this world, and their strength was not weak, then conflicts between martial artists must occur frequently, and there must be a set of rules for handling such incidents. Boss, leave these minor matters to me to handle, Ouyang Qin said. Ouyang Qin made several phone calls. Soon, the hotel's security personnel withdrew. It's handled already? Chun Bo was somewhat surprised by such speed. After all, Chun Bo's entire suite was destroyed, and the floor was cracked. Chun Bo thought that for such a serious matter, at least someone would come to investigate. This incident neither involved ordinary people nor resulted in any ordinary casualties, so it's not troublesome to resolve. The higher-ups have already classified this incident as an explosion caused by a customer's improper use of a microwave oven. As long as the hotel's losses are compensated, this matter will be considered closed, Ouyang Qin said without a ripple of emotion. It seemed as if all of this was reasonable and to be expected. Even if the entire floor was destroyed, in the eyes of martial artists, it was nothing more than an insignificant trifle. A smile played on Chun Bo's lips. All right, you're responsible for contacting the hotel staff afterwards and paying the compensation. Ouyang Qin. After parting with Ouyang Qin, Chun Bo, who had moved to another guest room, began to tally his gains from the day. Everything had happened too suddenly, and he hadn't had time to properly summarize all that had occurred today. Now that the matter had temporarily concluded, it was natural to take a good look at it. Firstly, during the dual cultivation with Ouyang Qin, the gathered vital energy raised his realm to the chi-gathering second level, and it was precisely because his realm broke through to the chi-gathering second level that he was able to easily defeat Grey Rat. Otherwise, it would have taken at least 2 strikes to defeat a formidable enemy like Grey Rat. Then there was the continuously evolving Vajrasutra under Ouyang Qin's sustained stimulation. This Vajrasutra not only made his dantian as hard as a rock, making it difficult for ordinary means to break through its defense. One must know that a martial artist's weakness lies in their dantian. Once the dantian is damaged, their martial path is considered waste, ruined. Under the protection of the Vajrasutra, even a Gangchi realm expert would find it difficult to shake the defense of the Vajrasutra on the dantian. Moreover, this Vajrasutra could also enhance his defensive power. Under the dual defense of the Vajrasutra and the Xuanwu physique, Chun Bo estimated that it would be absolutely impossible for anyone below the Gangchi realm to break through his defense. However, to know the specific upper limit, actual combat testing was still needed. To obtain this Vajrasutra from that Mingtang Jade Buddha head was truly a treasure he stumbled upon. Then there was the terrifying power of the Pangu Fist technique. With only 30% of its power, it could blast Grey Rat, who was at the Qi gathering peak, into a mist of blood with a single punch. This power was enough to instantly kill any martial artist below the Gangchi realm. If he struck with full force, even a Gangchi realm martial artist would find it difficult to retreat unscathed. This was definitely the most powerful and terrifying martial skill he currently possessed. Indestructible defense, the world-shattering Pangu Fist technique, coupled with the agile and ethereal movement of the Qilin Star Step, and the unexpected attacks of the Tai Wei Divine Needles. Chun Bo believed that as long as he didn't encounter a Grandmaster realm expert, no one would be able to hold him back, and no one would be able to stop him from showing off. After summarizing, Chun Bo felt terrifyingly strong now. Moreover, he currently had 2 lottery chances. He wondered what kind of god-tier skills he could draw from the system. Considering all of the above, Chun Bo revealed a wild smile. But then, he seemed to think of something and couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. He forgot to loot the corpse. More accurately, he couldn't loot the corpse. Grey Rat's body, along with everything on him, had vanished into thin air with Chun Bo's terrifying punch. Grey Rat had personally said that he carried many treasures. Now it was all gone. Everything, along with the dust of Grey Rat's body, was lost. In an instant, Chun Bo felt like he had lost several hundred million. Inside a nightclub in Yangcheng, neon lights swayed to the deafening, explosive music. A group of young men and women danced wildly amidst the lights and music, surrounded by alcohol and lust. In a booth, Wang Taiyu, embracing 2 young girls, was in high spirits, completely lost in pleasure. "Brother Wang, did you win the lottery? Tonight, you not only treated us brothers to drinks but also called for girls, and not just 1 but 2. You're underestimating our brother Wang, aren't you? Calling 2 girls isn't basic operation. Still, brother Wang, you always think of us when there's something good. Brother Wang, what profitable venture have you been on lately? Take us brothers along to earn some money too." Wang Taiyu's brothers flattered him, and one of them obsequiously lit a cigarette for Wang Taiyu. Wang Taiyu chuckled, took the cigarette from his brother's hand, took a puff and laughed. "After tonight, your brother Wang will completely turn things around and enter the circle of the upper class. Speaking of which, I'm a bit urgent. I'll go pee first, then I'll tell you." On the way to the restroom, a beautiful and charming figure blocked Wang Taiyu's path, smiling alluringly and sweetly. "Handsome, can you buy me a drink?"